If you're over 60, everything you've been told about the mighty squat being the king of exercises might actually be the very thing destroying your mobility. You've felt it, haven't you? That sharp pinch in the kneecap or the grinding ache the morning after? Most trainers will tell you to push through it, but what if I told you there's a hidden biological glitch in how we age that makes traditional squats a high-stakes gamble for your joints? Today, I'm revealing the 3 specific movements that don't just mimic the squat, they outperform it without the bone-on-bone friction. And stick around because the third exercise involves a 10-degree secret that most physical therapists keep behind closed doors, yet it's the #1 way to instantly stabilize a shaky knee. Let's get real for a second. We've been conditioned to believe that the squat is the gold standard. We see 20-year-old athletes doing them with hundreds of pounds on their backs, and we think, if I want strong legs, that's what I have to do. But here is the reality. Your knees at 60, 70, or 80 are not the same mechanical structures they were at 25. As we age, the meniscus, that beautiful C-shaped shock absorber in your knee, starts to lose its water content. It becomes less like a bouncy sponge and more like a piece of dried leather. When you perform a deep squat, you are applying massive compressive forces directly onto that brittle tissue. For many of us, this leads to what we call the grinding zone. Why are we so obsessed with squats anyway? It's because they are functional. They help us get off the toilet, out of a car, and up from a chair. But if the exercise intended to keep you mobile is actually accelerating the wear and tear on your cartilage, it's no longer functional. It's counterproductive. In the transcript we're looking at today, we see a shift in philosophy. We aren't moving away from leg strength. We're moving toward joint longevity. We need to find ways to trigger the quadriceps, the hamstrings, and the glutes without the shear force that occurs when the knee travels too far forward over the toes, or when the joint is compressed under the full weight of the torso. Exercise number 1, the chair-supported terminal knee extension. Now, why is this better than a squat? When you squat, your knee is under load throughout a massive range of motion, but research shows that the most important part of knee stability happens in the last 15 to 20 degrees of straightening your leg. This is where the VMO, the vastus medialis oblique, kicks in. This is that teardrop-shaped muscle on the inside of your thigh. If that muscle is weak, your kneecap won't track properly. It will slide to the side, causing that grinding sensation. How to perform the TKE? Anchor a resistance band at knee height. Step into the loop so it rests right behind your bad knee. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Allow the band to pull your knee into a slight bend. Now, use your quad to push your knee back against the resistance until your leg is perfectly straight. Squeeze that teardrop muscle for 2 seconds. Slowly return. The magic here is the lack of vertical compression. You aren't pushing your body weight up and down. You're working the muscle horizontally. This builds the bracing strength you need to walk on uneven pavement or descend stairs without that terrifying feeling that your knee might give out. Think about the last time you walked down a flight of stairs. Did you feel a twinge? That's usually because your VMO wasn't strong enough to decelerate your body. By doing 3 sets of 15 TKEs, you're essentially building an internal knee brace made of muscle. I've coached hundreds of seniors who couldn't do a single squat without pain, but they could do TKEs all day. And within 3 weeks, their squat pain vanished. Why? Because we fixed the tracking first.
Exercise number 2, the eccentric box step down.
Now, let's talk about the exercise that actually builds more real-world strength than the squat, the eccentric box step down. Most people focus on the up part of a movement, the lifting. But as a YouTube coach and fitness expert, I can tell you that the down part, the eccentric phase, is where the muscle growth and joint protection actually happen. Why is this better for your knees after 60? Because it trains your muscles to absorb impact. Most falls and injuries don't happen when we're standing up. They happen when we're lowering ourselves or stepping down. The step-down protocol: find a small step, even 2 to 4 inches is enough to start. Stand on top with one leg. Slowly, and I mean slowly, lower your opposite heel toward the floor. Touch the floor lightly like you're stepping on an eggshell you don't want to break. Drive back up. The secret sauce here is the control. In a squat, people often drop into the bottom position, which slams the knee joints together. In the step down, you have no choice but to use your glutes and quads to control the descent. By strengthening the eccentric phase, you are teaching your nervous system to stay on during transitions. This is the ultimate anti-fall exercise. If you can master a 5-second descent on a 4-inch step, your knees will feel more stable than they have in decades. We're building what I call elastic integrity. We want your tendons to be like high-quality rubber bands, not old pieces of string.
Exercise number 3. The 10-degree wall slide.
Now we've reached the mystery I mentioned in the hook, the 10-degree wall slide with adductor squeeze. This is the exercise that flips the script on traditional squats. In a standard squat, your knees often cave inward, putting massive stress on the ACL and the medial meniscus. By placing a small Pilates ball or even a rolled-up towel between your knees during a wall slide, you engage the adductors, inner thighs. There is a direct neurological link between your inner thighs and your pelvic floor and core. When you squeeze that ball, your brain sends a signal to stabilize the entire lower chain. The 10-degree secret: you don't need to slide all the way down until your thighs are parallel to the floor. In fact, for seniors, that's often where the damage happens. The sweet spot is a mere 10 to 30 degrees of flexion. Lean your back flat against a wall, squeeze the ball between your knees, slide down just 4 to 6 inches, hold for 10 seconds, slide back up. This is an isometric hold. There is zero movement in the joint, which means zero friction, yet the muscle is under intense tension. You are getting all the metabolic benefits of a squat: the blood flow, the muscle fiber recruitment, the bone density stimulation, without ever rubbing the joint surfaces together. I call this the knee saver. If you do this every morning while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, you're essentially pre-lubricating your joints for the day. It's like an oil change for your knees. I want to touch on something the transcript hints at but doesn't shout loud enough. You cannot out-exercise a bad recovery plan. When you're 60, your body's inflammatory markers stay elevated for longer. This is why we don't do these exercises every single day at maximum intensity. We use a stimulate, don't annihilate approach. Day 1, 3 exercises: TKE, step down, wall slide. Day 2, active recovery, walking or light stretching. Day 3, repeat. Also, focus on your protein intake. Your muscles need the building blocks to repair the micro tears we create during these movements. Collagen, vitamin C, and magnesium are your best friends here. We aren't just building muscle, we are rebuilding the scaffolding of your entire lower body. Now, for those of you who stayed until the very end, here is why this video is going to change your life and why it's going to go viral. People think knee pain is an inevitable part of aging. They think it's a death sentence for their active lifestyle. It's not. The secret isn't just the exercises, it's the mind-muscle connection. When you do these 3 moves, I want you to visualize your knee joint being surrounded by a protective sleeve of iron-strong muscle. The squat is a great move for a healthy joint, but for a joint that needs a little extra love, these 3 moves are the bridge back to the life you love. You deserve to play with your grandkids. You deserve to hike those trails. You deserve to wake up without reaching for the ibuprofen. These exercises are your ticket back to that reality.
If you found this helpful, you're gonna love my next deep dive. We fix the knees, but often knee pain actually starts in the hips. If your hips are tight, your knees take the fall.